Let's go, L-E-T-S-G-O, big G, little O, go and go and go. Let's go, L-E-T-S-G-O, big G, little O, go and go and go. I'm going out tonight, and then we start to fight. I wanna stay all night, I wanna stay all night. It's not a bad idea, just let the music play, and we'll forget about it, and we'll forget about it. Hey, hey, yo, yo, I don't wanna go, go, I just wanna dance all night. Hey, hey, yo, yo, I don't wanna go, go, I just wanna dance all night. Take my hand and dance if you can. Take my hand and dance if you can. It's a matter of fact, I wanna shake it like that. Come on, I wanna shake it. You're the stronger.
Hi, and welcome to this edition of GRIT4GLAMOUR. I'm Té Chavez,
And I'm Ande Alvarez.
and today I'm going to teach you how to make a tomato cream pasta dish that's very inexpensive and really easy to make.
And I'm going to teach you how to do a full face look out of one single product.
You ready?
Let's go.
Flush! Ah! It does the impossible!
Bum, bum, bum.
And this is the reason why, because it's called a flash palette from Makeup Forever.
Yes, flash palette. It's got how many colors? 12?
12 colors.
12 colors. We're going to start off with 3 very important colors to our scheme today. Red, green, and white, the colors of the Italian flag.
The colors of the Italian flag, which is why we're doing a pasta dish.
So appropriate.
So appropriate.
We're starting with red and green. These 2 colors are going to neutralize each other and start us off with a nice neutral brownish color.
Yeah, everybody's skin has a little bit of both of these colors. Indirectly, all face skin types have 12 different colors to the face. So when you're using a foundation, you're basically making it one even tone. So
I'm adding a little bit more green here because I want to make sure that the color that I create is really neutral, like a neutral brown, like coffee.
there it is.
There's my coffee brown.
Coffee brown.
Or poop.
We're gonna call it poop.
Poop. So we need to lighten it up. So we're gonna add white. Obvi. A little bit of white. Just mix that in there. It's kind of like a recipe, I suppose.
Yeah, it's
you
full
use
recipe.
eyeball
And you
it.
see how it's slowly turning into more flesh tone.
Absolutely.
Although I will say things on that palette make everything look really gray.
Yeah, it does. Well, and it starts off really neutral and light, so we need to add, everybody's undertone is either more yellow or more pink or neutral. So we're adding a little bit of both to kind of start off on the neutral side of things. And then as we go along, you'll see we're going to add more yellow or more pink to kind of adjust for the skin tone that we're trying to create. Now we're going to test just to see where we're at. Obviously way too dark.
Yeah.
And still a little too like grayish neutral. So we're going to go in with white because I'm a pale mofo, and a little more yellow to like warm it up.
And also that color that originally you could probably use if you were doing underpaint. Just wondering.
Yes. A lot of people use like a bronzer that's sort of orangey to contour with, but you can use a cooler shade that looks more like a shadow, and that's actually going to give you a more natural contour color. So we're just going in with pink and yellow as needed to kind of make this color a little more flesh tone. And as Tay said, it does look a little gray in the camera, but you'll see as we start to move it, it looks a little bit more.
And once she tests it on her hand, you'll realize, you'll notice that it's like very much more flesh tone.
It's all about eyeballing it and just kind of deciding what you need more or less of.
And there is the latte part. Yay!
Making it lighter like a latte. Don't mind me. I'm just nuts. Awesome. So we'll test again. See where we're at. Definitely getting there.
Now, see, the funny thing is when you did that, I almost thought that was really close to your color, but you were automatically like, no, more yellow.
Well, it was definitely close, but I feel like I wanted it to look a little bit more like flesh with my skin. So a little bit more yellow, I think, will kind of help that out. And a little bit more white, because as I said before, I'm a pale mofo. So I just need that to be a little bit lighter. You can see it on my hand there that they're both just a little dark.
And for those of you that are listening to this, she just pointed at the screen.
Oh.
Like you would
I
be able
can't
to
believe
tell
I
that
just
she
pointed
did.
at the screen. If you see there on my hand, well, I adjusted my verbiage because I said both colors. There we go. See?
Yeah.
Oh, this looks so much better to me.
It does, but
Yeah.
And that to me looked like it blended really well, but
Yeah.
you still thought that you were more pale mofo.
Oh,
So you
that's
had to
right.
go lighter.
More white, more white.
And the funny thing is, I almost didn't believe that you needed to change the color because I thought it was so close to your skin tone already.
Right.
But when you got to the final
Product.
color, I was like, oh, okay, so yeah, you really need to eyeball it. Which
Well,
is
yeah.
this color. Because when you blend it out, you see how the color actually looks like your arm color.
Yeah, it's a little red. So I usually scrape off a good majority of it and put it in an extra jar to save for later because you really don't need a whole lot of this product. It really spreads nicely and goes a long way. So I take off most of it and then use what's on the palette with a sponge. This is my lovely beauty blender. And I just kind of press and roll and spread the products.
Okay, question. What do
Yeah.
you think about the beauty blender?
You know, I'm still kind of formulating that in my head. I think it looks really natural. It gives a really nice, like, even finish. But I don't know. I'm not totally sold. I still love my brushes.
Yeah, see, I'm a brush person. I don't really use sponges all that much. So when I heard this, like everybody was using this beauty blender, I just can't fathom spending $19 for something that like
I agree.
I don't even like using sponges for.
It does give a little bit more of a lighter, even finish. So if you're looking for a little bit more fuller coverage, I still prefer a brush for that. Because I do think even with wetting the sponge, I think that it still absorbs a little more of the product than I would want it to. But it does give a really beautiful finish. And ta-da! See? Cool. So you can actually use this whole palette for an entire look. So I'm going to go in with the peach and just spread that on my cheeks as a little bit of like a cream blush, if you will.
And you want to use very, very little
Tiny,
of this
tiny
because
amount.
the stuff is a cream-based pigment. So if you add a lot, you're going to be blending and blending and blending.
Exactly. So we're taking the pink and the peach and mixing that together on the lips.
Which creates a beautiful coral color.
I'm in love with coral for summer, and it's still summer, so
Yeah,
I'm
it's
holding
still
on to
summer
that
right
for dear
now.
life.
Yeah.
And this is kind of cool, so we're going to actually use this on our eyes as well, taking peach and a little bit of white just to create kind of like a really light definition color. I'm just mixing that on the back of my hand.
And once again, you want to use very, very little of this because if you use too much of it, this stuff will crease like a crazy person.
If you notice, I'm tapping like very lightly with my
Very
finger.
lightly.
I'm
Like
just going to spread
rubbing
that.
in a very little bit.
Tiny
Because
bits.
what you're trying to do is create a hue. You're not trying to like actually cover the whole entire eye.
Right, it's just a really subtle definition in the crease. Ta-da!
There's with just the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
There's the whole look.
And I did cheat and put eyeliner on, but you can use an angled eyeliner brush and the black in the palette for that. Now it's time for the penne alla tomato creme.
So what you're going to use for this dish is some shrimp or chicken, whichever one, or you can just use the vegetables if you'd like. Broccoli, onions and garlic, mushrooms, penne pasta that's wheat, I like wheat pasta, 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and some salt and pepper. And the pièce de la résistance, Philadelphia brand cream cheese. Turn that fire up and make sure that you put that pan hot. I use vegetable oil for this particular one. Usually I would use olive oil, but you need it to be kind of hot, and olive oil you can only put at a certain temperature, otherwise it turns into like a little bit of a poison. You guys didn't know that. Because we're trying to fry the pasta noodles before you add any of the other liquids. The carving gives a little bit more of a flavor to it. Add that 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, and you're going to keep stirring it into it until the tomato sauce absorbs into the pasta, which would be like almost an orange color. And it should be right about
That beautiful flip.
now. There it is. Through the magic of camera. So that orange color is going to mean that the pasta has absorbed the tomato sauce. So you're going to add some water. I actually don't really measure a whole bunch. I just kind of put the water a little bit above the pasta noodles because that's about how much you would need anyways. You could add a little bit more water if you want to be a little bit more forgiving because you're going to make it into a cream sauce anyways. So, you know, it's going to turn creamy. After you put the water in and let that boil, you're going to add all your vegetables and your broccoli. I also do peas and carrots in it sometimes, but
Yeah.
delicious. So you stir that together and make sure that everything's wet. Everything's got...
Sorry, I'm 12.
Everything is covered in the tomato sauce. And you're going to let that steep for about 10 minutes. Add not a goodish amount of salt because it's just a little bit of a flavor thing. But you can add as much pepper as you want because the black pepper dissipates. while it's boiling. Cover that stuff up, leave it in for 10 minutes. Bring the fire down to a medium level. Once that is done for about 10 minutes, you're going to add your shrimp in. You don't want to add the shrimp in immediately. If you were doing chicken, you can put the chicken in when you put in the vegetables, and it'll more stew. But shrimp, if you cook it for too long, as people know, it gets a little rubbery, and no one really wants the rubbery shrimp. So you want to put it in like after the pasta is a little, like almost close to being done. Stir it together so that the shrimp is all wet. Again.
Wet shrimp.
Wet shrimp. And then you're going to cover it up again and leave it for about another 5 minutes. Once the shrimp is just about halfway cooked, you're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of cream cheese into the saucepan. I'm crazy. I like a lot of cream cheese, so I add like 5.
Cream cheese makes everything better.
It's so delicious. I prefer the Philadelphia brand cream cheese. I've done this recipe before with other cream cheeses. It doesn't really melt as fast as the Philadelphia brand. You can also use the light version of the Philadelphia brand cream cheese, so it'll be like a little bit more low fat. This dish isn't that fattening by any means, but because you don't really need a whole bunch. You see how the sauce is getting thick? So the cream cheese melts into the tomato sauce, creating that beautiful sauce. You can put your lid on and let it boil for another like 5 minutes or so. Once you've got that boiled, you should be all done. You want to turn the fire off and let that sit for about 2 to 3 minutes because you want the sauce to thicken. But keep the lid off because you want the steam to thicken the sauce. Like evaporate. Yeah. See how it's getting a lot thicker. It becomes sort of a cheesy tomatoey roux.
Yum.
Plate that puppy up and you are laughing.
Time for my belly.
Time for my belly. There it is.
So good.
It was so delicious.
Enjoy.
Enjoy it.
And there you have it, a gourmet meal in 20 minutes.
And a full face look with one single product.
Join us next time for Grit for Glamour.
Cheers!
That was awesome.
That's fine.
Hooray.
Man down.
We're
It's so
good.
much easier when you know what you're doing.
We're kind of amazing. Can I just, without saying that I'm a complete douche canoe, can I just like, pat
on the
the backs?
Oh, Lord.